Cayenne pepper does three things. It thins the blood, whereas aspirin, it thins the blood to the point where it causes eye bleeds, brain bleeds, and stomach bleeds. It's not a safe drug, whereas cayenne pepper, it thins the blood and it'll heal the brain bleeds from the aspirin in the brain and the eye in the stomach. Cayenne pepper also dilates the blood vessels. So with dilating the blood vessels, you get a more effective and efficient flow of blood through the whole body. And cayenne pepper strengthens the arterial wall. So if there has been damage in the arterial walls, the cayenne pepper will strengthen arterial walls. It's a powerful herb. Hello and welcome back. I'm Barbara O'Neill. Today we're going to discuss an important topic that directly impacts many of us as we age: blood pressure and the foods that can make it worse. High blood pressure is often called the silent killer because it can quietly damage your body for years before symptoms appear. In fact, almost half of adults have high blood pressure and many don't even realize it. The good news is there are certain foods you can avoid to help maintain healthier blood pressure. In this video, we'll explore which foods can wreak havoc on your blood pressure and why they're best left out of your diet. So stay with me as we look at the simple changes you can make to protect yourself from this common but preventable issue. As a thank you for joining me today, we're giving away 100 free copies of my best-selling book to subscribers. So if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, like this video, and comment why you want to win. So your seawater has 92 minerals, and of those 92 minerals, 30% is sodium. Can you see how God meant us to be having sodium with all the other minerals to buffer it out? 50% is chloride. And because these make up the largest amount of minerals, when the first crystals are formed when the seawater's evaporated, when the water's evaporated from the seawater, sodium chloride. So they scoop that up, no time to wait for the rest to be evaporated. Bleach it white, put aluminium with it, there's your table salt. Table salt has 2 minerals. Yes, it is true that table salt will help the blood pressure to go up because it causes a mineral imbalance in and out of the cell. You see, the highest concentration of mineral inside the cell is potassium, and the highest concentration outside the cell is sodium. So when these are taken in these high amounts, it causes an imbalance. The doctor's right. Table salt will get the blood pressure up, and so will no salt, because your cells need that little bit of salt. So my suggestion is to take the Celtic salt. The Celtic salt contains 82 minerals, and the Himalayan salt, it contains 75 minerals. One of the beauties of the Celtic salt is it has 3 magnesiums, and magnesium is a muscle relaxant, and magnesium relaxes that heart at rest. Dr. Leroy is a French doctor who's written a whole book on salt. If someone comes to him with high blood pressure, he puts them straight on Celtic salt. If they're not used to any salt, start small. Start very small, and then little by little ease it in. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 13, it says in the Bible, "Yea, the salt of the earth, if the salt hath lost its savour, wherewith shall it be salted? It is henceforth good for nothing but to be cast out and trodden under foot of men." Old English, how I love the Old English. What does it mean, the salt hath lost its savour? I'd like to suggest to you that table salt has lost its savour. It's lost all the other minerals. And what does the Bible say? It's now good for nothing but to be cast out and trodden under foot of men, so stop the refined salt. Table salt contributes to high blood pressure, primarily due to the imbalance it creates between sodium and other essential minerals in the body. When you consume a lot of table salt, which contains only sodium and chloride, you flood your body with sodium without the other minerals like potassium and magnesium that are naturally present in unrefined sea salt. This imbalance forces the body to retain more water, increasing blood volume, which in turn puts more pressure on the blood vessels. As a result, your heart has to work harder and your blood pressure rises. This problem is further amplified because sodium helps regulate fluid balance, and when there is too much sodium in the bloodstream, the kidneys struggle to excrete the excess. This leads to water retention, swelling, and further increases in blood pressure. Over time, this can damage blood vessels and contribute to the risk of heart disease, stroke, and kidney damage. Avoiding table salt is advisable because it lacks the minerals that act as buffers and support overall electrolyte balance. Instead, using natural sea salt or Himalayan salt, which contains a wide variety of minerals, can help ensure that the body receives not only sodium but also other minerals like potassium, calcium, and magnesium. These minerals work together to maintain a healthy balance of fluids and support proper cell function. In particular, potassium helps counteract the effects of sodium by relaxing blood vessels and promoting the excretion of excess sodium through urine. Caffeine causes a crisis response. And whenever there's a crisis in your body naturally raises blood pressure. In preparation, because you're about to do the run or the climb or the fight of your life, as usually happens in a crisis. But actually the person's just sitting in the coffee shop or in the kitchen and there is actually no crisis, even though a crisis was created. But meantime, the blood pressure has gone up. So now the body reacts and adapts to that rise to try and bring out the balance. And that's why when you come to the retreat and stop the coffee, all the headaches come. Coffee raises blood pressure mainly because of its caffeine content. Caffeine is a stimulant that blocks adenosine, a chemical that makes you feel relaxed and sleepy. When caffeine blocks adenosine, it causes your body to release more adrenaline. This adrenaline increases your heart rate and tightens blood vessels, which leads to higher blood pressure. For people who are sensitive to caffeine or don't drink coffee regularly, the effects can be even stronger. If you already have high blood pressure, drinking coffee regularly can make it harder to keep it under control. The frequent spikes in blood pressure from caffeine put extra stress on your heart and blood vessels, increasing the risk of heart disease and strokes over time. Besides its impact on blood pressure, coffee has other health risks. Coffee is acidic, which can trigger digestive issues like acid reflux or heartburn, especially if you have a sensitive stomach. It also affects sleep. Drinking coffee in the afternoon or evening can make it hard to fall asleep or stay asleep, which impacts your overall health. Lack of good sleep can lead to a weakened immune system, weight gain, and higher chances of developing chronic conditions. Another problem with coffee is that it's easy to become dependent on it. If you use coffee to stay awake and alert, your body can get used to it, needing more caffeine to get the same effect. If you try to cut back, you might experience withdrawal symptoms like headaches and irritability. Also, many people add sugar, cream or syrups to their coffee. These extras can add a lot of calories, leading to weight gain and increasing the risk of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. To keep your blood pressure and health in check, it's a good idea to limit coffee or avoid it, especially if you're prone to high blood pressure or sleep issues. Switching to herbal teas or other non-caffeinated drinks can be a healthier alternative. The refined sugar. How does refined sugar affect heart function? The cells of the heart require a steady, consistent delivery of fuel. What sugar does, it causes quick highs and quick lows. So the heart is not getting its steady, consistent delivery of fuel. The hybridized wheat of today causes a blood sugar level rise higher than sugar. We looked at that when we looked at diabetes. So again, that's contributing to the quick highs, quick lows. And how many foods are those two together? There's the cakes, there's the donuts, there's the cookies, most cereals. It's a combination of those two. We thank the kitchen for giving us some delicious little morsels of dessert this week that show how you can have delicious desserts without using the wheat and the sugar. There's so many alternatives today. Another reason why the wheat affects the heart is because particularly the protein or the gluten structure. In the hybridization of the wheat, an incredibly complex protein structure was produced. Now remember what I said earlier. This wheat was put through intensive crossbreeding to get a smaller wheat with a thicker stem to hold the increase in grain. It's about 6 to 8 times the grain. And it was rushed through with no safety studies. And it's only now we're starting to see the effect. And one was this change in the starch that raises blood sugar. And the other one was the gluten or the protein structure. And because it's so complex when it goes into the body, where with some individuals there's almost a crisis response. There's an allergy response. And whenever there's a crisis or allergy response, it's very similar to caffeine. That's why these two are contributing factors to tachycardia, heart arrhythmia. That's why we always have to have this 3-letter word on our lips. There is always a reason. In the little book, Ministry of Healing, she says in case of sickness, cause should be ascertained. So contributing factors to all of those. Refined sugar can raise blood pressure and negatively impact heart health in several ways. When you consume foods and drinks high in refined sugar, like soda, candy, and processed snacks, your blood sugar levels spike quickly. This surge prompts the pancreas to release insulin, a hormone that helps regulate blood sugar. However, when insulin levels are consistently high, it can lead to sodium retention by the kidneys. This retention increases blood sugar, blood volume, which in turn raises blood pressure. Additionally, a diet high in refined sugar often contributes to weight gain. Excess sugar is converted into fat and stored in the body, particularly around the abdomen. This excess fat can increase inflammation and insulin resistance, both of which are risk factors for hypertension and heart disease. The more weight you gain, the more strain you put on your heart, making it work harder to pump blood throughout your body. Refined sugar can also raise triglyceride levels, a type of fat found in the blood. High triglyceride levels are linked to a greater risk of heart disease, as they can contribute to the hardening of arteries. This condition, known as atherosclerosis, can restrict blood flow and lead to serious cardiovascular events like heart attacks and strokes. Beyond heart health, refined sugar poses other risks. It is a significant factor in the development of type 2 diabetes, which can further complicate cardiovascular health. Moreover, high sugar intake is associated with dental problems and can increase the risk of liver disease and metabolic syndrome, a cluster of conditions that heightens the risk of heart disease, stroke and diabetes. Given these potential dangers, it's best to limit refined sugar in your diet. Opt for natural sources of sweetness like fruits, which come packed with vitamins, minerals and fiber. By focusing on a balanced diet rich in whole foods, you can improve your heart health, maintain a healthy weight and lower the risk of chronic diseases. Reducing refined sugar can significantly benefit your overall health and well-being. Now let's discuss some more foods that cause high blood pressure and should be avoided. Let's start with processed foods, which are ubiquitous in our modern diets. Processed foods include anything that has been altered from its original form, typically for convenience, taste or shelf life. This category includes pre-packaged meals, canned soups, snack foods, and even breakfast cereals. One of the most alarming aspects of processed foods is their sodium content. The American Heart Association recommends that adults consume no more than 300 milligrams of sodium per day, with an ideal limit of no more than 500 milligrams for most adults. However, research shows that the average American consumes about 400 milligrams of sodium each day, primarily from processed foods. This excess sodium can lead to water retention, which increases blood volume and subsequently raises blood pressure. A study published in the journal Hypertension found that reducing sodium intake can lower blood pressure by approximately 5-6 mHg in people with hypertension. But sodium isn't the only concern with processed foods. They often contain unhealthy fats, sugars and preservatives that can further exacerbate heart health issues. Trans fats, which are commonly found in many processed snacks and baked goods, can raise bad cholesterol levels while lowering good cholesterol. According to the World Health Organization, trans fats can increase the risk of coronary heart disease by up to 28%. Furthermore, processed foods often lack essential nutrients such as potassium, magnesium and fiber, which are vital for heart health. Diets rich in potassium can help counteract the effects of sodium on blood pressure. A meta-analysis published in The Lancet found that higher potassium intake is associated with lower blood pressure levels, highlighting the importance of balancing sodium intake with potassium-rich foods. Now let's move on to sugary beverages. Soft drinks, energy drinks, and even sweetened teas are some of the biggest sources of added sugars in our diets. The American Heart Association recommends limiting added sugars to no more than 6% of daily caloric intake, which equates to about 100 calories per day for women and 150 calories for men. However, the average American consumes around 17 teaspoons of added sugar daily, with sugary beverages contributing significantly to this figure. The consumption of high amounts of sugar, particularly fructose, has been linked to insulin resistance and obesity. Both of which are significant risk factors for hypertension. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that higher consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages is associated with elevated blood pressure levels. For instance, every additional serving of sugar-sweetened beverage consumed per day was associated with a 0.28 lmpg increase in systolic blood pressure and a 0.21 lmpg increase in diastolic blood pressure. Furthermore, sugar can lead to weight gain, which is a major contributor to hypertension. According to the National Heart, Lung and Blood Institute, being overweight or obese can increase your risk of developing high blood pressure by as much as 70%. Each pound of weight loss can lower systolic blood pressure by about 1 milligram Hg, emphasizing the importance of maintaining a healthy weight through diet and exercise. Sugary beverages can also affect heart health beyond blood pressure. High sugar intake has been linked to higher triglyceride levels, which can lead to the hardening of arteries, atherosclerosis. The American Heart Association warns that high triglycerides can increase the risk of heart disease, as they can lead to the buildup of fatty deposits in the arteries, reducing blood flow. Now, let's discuss salty snacks, another significant contributor to high blood pressure. Snack foods like chips, pretzels, and even some popcorn varieties are often heavily salted. A single serving of potato chips can contain about 150-200 mg of sodium, and it's easy to consume several servings in one sitting without realizing it. When these snacks become a regular part of your diet, they can quickly contribute to exceeding the recommended daily sodium intake. The connection between sodium intake from salty snacks and hypertension is well established. A systematic review published in Circulation found that reducing sodium intake can lead to a significant decrease in blood pressure, particularly in individuals who are already hypertensive. One study showed that participants who reduced their sodium intake by 1,000 mg per day experienced an average decrease in systolic blood pressure of about 5 mHg. Moreover, high sodium intake is associated with other health issues beyond hypertension. It can lead to kidney damage over time, as the kidneys work harder to filter out the excess sodium. The kidneys play a crucial role in regulating blood pressure by controlling the volume of blood. When the kidneys are overburdened, it can lead to further complications, including chronic kidney disease. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you found this information on foods that can negatively affect your blood pressure helpful. Remember, making informed choices about what you eat can significantly impact your heart health. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with anyone who might benefit from it. Stay proactive about your health, and I'll see you next time for more tips on living your best life.